Reading passage 3. You should spend about 20 minutes on questions 28 until 70, which are based on reading passage 3 below. Time travel. Time travel took a small step away from science fiction and toward science recently when physicists discovered that subatomic particles known as neutrinos, progeny of the sun's radioactive debris, can exceed the speed of light. The unassuming particle it is electrically neutral, small but with a non-zero mass, and able to penetrate the human form undetected, is on its way to becoming a rock star of the scientific world. Researchers from the European Organization for Nuclear Research (CERN) in Geneva sent the neutrinos hurtling through an underground corridor toward their colleagues at the Oscillation Project with Emulsion Tracing Apparatus (OPERA) team 230 kilometers away in Gran Sasso, Italy. The neutrinos arrived promptly, so promptly in fact that they triggered what scientists are calling the unthinkable, that everything they have learned, known, or taught stemming from the last 100 years of the physics discipline may need to be reconsidered. The issue is a tiny segment of time, precisely 60 nanoseconds, which is 60 billionths of a second. This is how much faster than the speed of the light the neutrinos manage to go in their underground travels, and at a consistent rate 15,000 neutrinos were sent over 3 years. Even allowing for a margin of error of 10 billionths of a second, this stands as proof that it is possible to race against light and wind. The duration of the experiment also accounted for and ruled out any possible lunar effects or tidal pulse in the Earth's crust. Nevertheless, there is plenty of reason to remain skeptical. According to Harvard University science historian Peter Gallison, Einstein's relativity theory has been pushed harder than any theory in the history of the physical sciences. Yet its prior challenge has come to no avail, and relatively has so far refused to buckle. So it is time travel just around the corner. The prospect has certainly been ranked much closer to the realm of possibility now that a major physical hardly, the speed of light, has been cleared. If particles can travel faster than light, in theory traveling back in time is possible, or anyone harnesses that to some kind of helpful and is far beyond the scope of any modern technologies, however, and will be left to future generations to explore. Certainly, any prospective time travelers may have to overcome more physical and logical hurdles than merely overtaking the speed of light. One such problem posed by Rene Bergeville in his 1943 take La Voyager imprudent is so-called grandfather paradox. Bergeville theorized that if it were impossible to go back in time, a time traveler could potentially kill his own grandfather. If this were to happen, however, the time traveler himself would not be born, which is already known to be true. In other words, there is a paradox in circumventing an already known future. Time travel is able to facilitate past action that mean time travel itself cannot occur. Other possible routes have been offered, though, for Igor Novikov, astrophysicist behind the 1980s theorem known as the self-consistency principle. Time travel is possible within certain boundaries. Novikov argued that any event causing a paradox would have zero probability. It would be possible, however, to affect rather than change historical outcomes if travelers avoid all inconsistencies. Averting the sinking of the Titanic, for example, would revoke any future imperative to stop it from sinking. It would be impossible saving selected passengers from the water and replacing them with realistic corpses would not be impossible. However, as the historical record would not be altered in any way, a further possibility is that of parallel universes, popularized by Bryce Seligman Dewitt in the 1960s. From the seminal formulation of Everett, the many words interpretation holds that an alternative pathway from every conceivable occurrence actually exists. If we were to send someone back in time, we might therefore expect never to see him again. Any alteration would defer that person down a new historical trajectory. A final hypothesis, one of unidentified provenance, reroutes itself quite efficiently around the grandfather paradox. Non-existent theories suggest exactly that a person would quite simply never exist if they alter their ancestry in ways that obstructed their outbirth. They would still exist in person upon returning to the present, but any chain reactions associated with their reaction would not be registered. Their historical identity would be gone. So will humans one day step across the same boundary that the neutrinos have, but renew astrophysicist Stephen Hawking believes that once spaceship can exceed the speed of light, humans could feasibly travel millions of years into the future in order to repopulate Earth in the event of forthcoming apocalypse. This is because as the spaceships all accelerate into the future, time will slow down around them. Hawking considers that pecan ears are off limits. This word violates the fundamental rule that cause comes before effect. Hawking is therefore reserved that optimistic time travel was once considered scientific heresy, and I used to avoid talking about it for fear of being labeled a crank. These days I'm not so cautious. Question 28 until 33. Do the following statements agree with the information given in reading passage 3? In boxes 28 until 33 on your answer sheet, write true if the statement agrees with the information. False is if the statement contradicts the information not given if there is no information on this. 18. It is unclear where neutrinos come from. 29. Neutrinos can pass through a person's body without causing harm. 30. It took scientists between 50 until 70 nanoseconds to send the neutrinos from Geneva to Italy. 31. Researchers accounted for effect the moon might have had on the experiment. 32. The theory of relativity has often been called into question unsuccessfully. 33. This experiment could soon lead to some practical use for time travel. Question 34 until 39. Complete the tables now. Below. Choose no more than 3 words from the passage for each answer. Write your answer in the boxes 34 until 39 on your answer sheet. Original theories: René Paulseville theory, grandfather paradox, Igor Novikov self-consistency principle. 36 many words interpretations. 38 unknown. Question 40. Choose the correct letter A, B, C, or D. Write the correct letter in the box 40 on your answer sheet. Stephen Hawking has stated that human time travel is theoretically possible, but in but is unlikely to ever actually occur. Human time travel might be possible but only moving backward in time. C. Human time travel might be possible but only moving forward in time. D. All time travel is impossible.